Yeah, do you ever have like any type of like when you're in like the spiritual warfare type of mode where there's some type of like attacks and stuff? How do you deal with that?
Who's coming at who? What kind of attack are you dealing with? Psychic attack?
Yeah, I mean, I've felt it for a while, and I just try not to like even acknowledge it. It's just one of those things where people are like, "Oh yeah," like when you grow up in the church, it's like everything is, oh, that's just the devil putting thoughts on you and or whatever. So you just like pray it away. So it's like people still go through that. We still go through that, or is there ever a point where you don't go through that anymore?
You won't go through it when it's not worth their time to fuck with you. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh,
Right now,
okay.
right now you're still shaky. You're not firm in your faith. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
Not like you're firm in your faith, like, hey, I should be praying outside of myself. No, firm in your faith as in the Holy Spirit is within you. You know what I'm trying to say? You
Mhm.
are a living, breathing aspect of the eternal God, right? So
Mhm.
you need to understand that and not, right now the fear within you, which is your vessel, is overriding the logic of your mind and of your heart, right?
Mhm.
Correct?
Mhm. Yeah, I understand that.
Okay. So the war is between fear and evil, fear, which is evil, and love, which is truth, right? So
Right.
that war is waging within you. So you are the co-creator of your reality, right?
Mhm.
So when you understand that you understand that your life is always going to be a reflection of your inner emotional world, then through meditation via the Hermetic principles, right? You can begin to learn to transmute that falsehood into truth, and then your reality will be based upon that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
You make everything sound so simple.
Well, it's not simple. It sucks. It's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But it's a truth.
Mm.
It's a truth. It's not going to be easy. You know what I'm trying to say? Well, that's
Yeah.
why you either do it, have the discipline to do it on your own, or you get a coach.
Mhm.
Like someone like myself. For questions, comments, and to show your support, visit us on the web at AfroEmpath.com. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, like, spiritual doctrine was taught to me as if I was meant to be Christ. You know what I'm trying to say? It was never like I was
Okay.
never. We read a book that basically was supposed to talk about the early life of Christ. You know what I'm trying to say? It was called
Mhm.
the Querying Gospel of Jesus the Christ. So that was my first introduction to that whole thing. I mean, when I was young, I had some Jehovah's Witnesses come to the house and things like that. But basically, it was an alchemical story of Christ, and it just explained some more moral things of the struggles that people would have to go through on a certain path. And so basically, I never looked outside of myself for for a savior figure. You know what I'm saying?
I got it. Okay.
I always felt like
You
I
always
had.
looked within.
Yeah, exactly. I
Mhm.
always felt like I had to do it myself. So there's pluses and minuses to that. The pluses is that um, you can actually go about the process of becoming Christ like yourself. The downside of that is you have to go through tremendous suffering. So I thought one time that I, just like Christ, that I had to save black people through physical means, right? So
Mhm.
I was going in the courts, the courthouses and things like that. I'm not sure if you heard the Moorish movement, the Moorish national movement, whatever. But
Yes.
basically, I
Mhm.
was I was driving without a license. I had an affidavit of travel, affidavit of truth to travel. I was kind of a rebel. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Okay.
that being driving without a license and things like that, just trying to be like, this is our land type shit. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
You know, So, but basically that caught up to me, and the Romans caught me, and
Mhm.
I said I was a Moor, and went up there, and they're like, you're not the king of the Jews, all that shit. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Yeah.
that's what happened. That was my Christ story, and
Mhm.
I thought I was going to go to jail for 7 years, and so that brought me tremendous anxiety. I was 30 years old, and having to spend 7 years in jail to me was worse than death, because I wasn't afraid to
Mhm.
die. I was a rebel. I was willing to give my life if needed to help free our people from the plight of American society.
Mhm.
But the fact that I would be having to spend 7 years behind bars, obviously scared the shit out of me. It was with anybody. So I was on probation for a long period of time during that trial, for several months, and during that time, I I was in house arrest. I couldn't go anywhere, so I had no choice but to sit there and meditate because I had so much anxiety. You know,
Mhm.
I read the Kabbalah. The first time I read the Kabbalah, I instantly knew how to apply it to my emotional inner worlds. Meaning that these things are things that I've done in past lives. You know what I'm trying to say? So when I saw it, the seven hermetic principles, I was like, this is what I needed. This is what I needed to understand the universe. You know what I'm trying to say? Like this is what I needed. You know, it's like I knew all these things, but I never knew how to like I never knew the axioms of them. I never knew how to put them in words. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
So when I finally understood universal law, and it was concrete for me intellectually, I understood that no matter what I went through on an emotional level, through those laws, I could always get myself out of whatever depression or whatever funk or whatever spell of anxiety that I was under through meditation. And I made that my priority over everything. And
Mm.
yeah. And
Well.
so after 10 years of meditation and celibacy, no girlfriend, not many friends, no, uh,
Mhm.
now I consider myself a pretty high level alchemist to the point where, um, I have, let's just say if, uh, I have certain gifts. I'm trying to say based on what
Mhm.
based upon how long I meditated. I'm trying to say tangible gifts in terms of being able to heal people. So um,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, do you actually have like a corporate type of job too?
no,
Okay. Wow, that's interesting.
yeah. So basically, all I do is sit around and meditate and have my. Have you ever listened to the podcast that I put out?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
I post it every week on the dang Facebook. You haven't listened to it one time?
No, because I'm not really I usually am not in the group like
I know. I see.
that
I
often.
saw you're like in a bunch of groups. You're in the what's her name's group too. She's a good sister
Yeah.
though. So I
Hmm.
saw you in there. What is what does 000 mean? Is that you? I said, Who's this
Yeah,
nut? This whack job up in there? What is zero
I
zero?
know. I just wanted to know. I just find it interesting though. You said you so how are you able to like do what you need to do since you don't work like a corporate job?
Ultimately, this is just something my soul has set up for me. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah.
Okay. Wow, wow. Okay.
Living the
That
dream, not
is
really.
that is a
I'm
story.
yeah, it is a
Wow.
story. Yeah, I've been putting in
Wow.
a lot of work. There's lots of people in this game, into this whole spiritual thing.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't really know shit. You know what I'm trying to say? They really don't. Like
Yeah.
this is not a culture like how can I put it like some people now they're out of the church and so they think that oh well this just being spiritual is something this is a new thing. You know what I'm trying to say? It's
Right.
really not.
Mhm.
It's really not. Really being spiritually enlightened is something more akin to like Neo waking up from the Matrix in a pod of muck and shit.
Mhm.
It's not
Mhm.
pretty. It's not fashionable. I'm trying to say it requires
Yeah.
a lot of internal work. So I do grimy meditations. Several times a week. Um,
Yeah.
so and I'm dealing with all types of trauma in my DNA from ancestral pains from stemming from slavery to who knows when. So
Well, do you manage to have like a social life now?
me, a social life. I
Like
mean,
friends and going places and everything?
yeah, I can go out if I want. Right now, my car's in the shop, but it'll be out in a couple of weeks. But I mean, friends. I mean, I don't mind. That's the thing. I'm creating a retreat. I'm not sure if we saw the post I made, but I have a retreat coming up this summer for other empaths and alchemists. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like
Got it.
when you become spiritually advanced, you want to be able to hang around other people that are on a certain vibration.
Yeah.
So there's a saying, be the change you want to see in the world. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I'm being the change. You know, sure, I
Mhm.
can hang out with my old buddies from college, and we can go to a titty bar and drink beer. But
Mhm.
it's gonna dull my senses, and I don't really enjoy that.
Yeah.
So as you begin to evolve, you got to do things and be around people that are on a certain vibration, which is rare. That's why I created the group, so people can find that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I have a million questions,
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
let me see. I feel like I have so many questions. I just
Well,
don't even know where to
just ask a
begin.
question. You were gonna ask that, and then I interrupted you. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Ask what you're gonna ask.
uh, well, I don't even know. Um,
Well, how are you doing? Where are you at in your spiritual journey?
oh, I'm right. I feel like I'm just a beginner. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to be honest, I feel like I have a lot to learn. I take like my yoga classes and um, I need to get better at doing that. I think my biggest issue is just not like listening to my intuition,
Mm-hmm.
not following through and
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because ultimately, all that shit. What does zero zero mean? Who gives a fuck? Start meditating. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
you're right.
that's not going to bring you enlightenment. You know what I'm trying to say? Ultimately,
Yeah,
every answer you need is going to be inside yourself. Now, I'm not saying that study is not important to some degree, but I mean, ultimately, at this stage in this evolutionary process of humanity, ultimately, it's just about finding inner peace and finding faith. You know what I'm trying to say? You're now
yeah,
you seem like a sister that is of faith to a degree anyway. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah.
Okay, so
Well, how do you do that when you count? Like, okay, so what if you have like, yeah, do you ever have like any type of what is it called? Like when you're in like the spiritual warfare type of mode where I don't know, where there's some type of like attacks and stuff.
I
How do
mean,
you deal with that?
who's coming? Who what kind of attack are you dealing with? Psychic attack
Yeah,
from who?
I don't know.
You feel a psychic attack coming at you? You don't know where it's coming from?
I mean, I've felt it for a while and I just try not to like even acknowledge it. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where people are like, oh, yeah. Like when you grow up in the church, it's like everything is, oh, that's just the devil putting thoughts on you and or whatever. So you just like pray it away. So it's like, I'm sure people still go through that. We still go through that. Or is there ever a point where you don't go through that anymore?
You won't go through it when it's not worth their time to fuck with you. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh,
Right now,
okay.
right now you're still shaky. You're not firm in your faith. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Not like you're firm in your faith like, hey, I should be praying outside of myself. No, firm in your faith as in the Holy Spirit is within you. You know what I'm trying to say? You
Mm-hmm.
are a living, breathing aspect of the eternal God, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you need to understand that and not right now the fear within you, which is your vessel, is overriding the logic of your mind and of your heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay. So the war is between fear and evil, fear, which is evil, and love, which is truth, right? So
Right.
that war is waging within you. So you are the co-creator of your reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you understand that you understand that your life is always going to be a reflection of your inner emotional worlds, then through meditation via the hermetic principles, right? You can begin to learn to transmute that falsehood into truth, and then your reality will be based upon that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
You make everything sound so simple.
Well, it's not simple. It sucks. It's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But it's a truth.
Mm,
It's a truth. It's not going to be easy. You know what I'm trying to say? Well, that's
yeah.
why you either do it, have the discipline to do it on your own, or you get a coach. Like someone like myself or someone else. You know what I'm trying to say? Who, like, if you were to
Yeah.
get a personal trainer, it's not like I'm sure anybody can get up and jog. I can get up and jog. You know what I'm trying to say? But people get
Yeah.
personal trainers because those people have the discipline. They've been proven to have the discipline to do it on a consistent basis and have shown results within themselves to the point where they have a certain level of mastery. In that case, it's the physical body. In my case, it's the internal, emotional, spiritual body, right?
Okay.
My prices are pretty cheap. I'll send them to you. But also, there's also another option for free. I have a podcast. Now I can't have you on all the time, But but I can have you on a couple times on the podcast, and we can speak just like we're speaking here, as long as it's valuable information, you know, for free too. But then,
Yeah.
but that the issue with that is that it's not going to be as personable. You know what I'm trying to say? Because
Right.
realistically, there's probably things on a daily basis that you don't want to have shared publicly. So so
Right.
that may not be the best option. So, but those are the options
So
I
why does
have.
it seem like, okay,
Go ahead.
it seems like a lot of people are have either groups or they're coaches now, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to be on their Patreon and become a member. Why is that? It seems like it's more like commercialized to me, I think. More trendy.
People, yeah, well, people need spiritual guidance right now. It's just like the pharmaceutical or medical industry. It's no different, right? Well,
Yeah,
there's a need
I
for it,
understand.
and people are going to take it.
Hmm.
There's a funnel of souls looking for guidance, spiritual guidance, and
Yeah,
there's a funnel of people, and that's a funnel of energy, and it's a funnel of energy to draw upon for money, right?
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so it's no different. It's the same as any other craze or fad, right?
Yeah,
Only this
yeah.
time, people's spirits and their souls are in jeopardy, and so that's why you have to use your intuition to know who right from wrong, and who is false and who is fake, who is true. So the thing is that realistically, I'm not in this shit for the money. I don't, and that's the thing is I don't need money. You already know my background story, so I'm not in a position where
Hmm.
I don't need anybody's money. I'm doing this. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to be doing it for the right reasons. I'm trying to say, because it's not really about that. Now there are sisters out here and brothers out here that they don't have the situation I'm in, and they have to have these kind of Patreon monthly type things. You know what I'm trying to say going on, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to down them for that. You know what I'm trying to say, if
Hmm.
that's what they came to do, especially if they're doing good work. You know what I'm trying to say, I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't really put my face out there. I have a podcast, but I've realized that if you're not putting yourself out there in terms of a physical, your physical face out there, then it seems like
Hmm.
people don't want to interact with you, or don't really catch on to your YouTube things and things like that. So, I figured if people are meant to find me, they'll find me, but I'm not going to stress about it. I don't want to have a responsibility like that, because realistically, most people are not going to get what the hell I'm talking about anyway. I've got people that come to me all the time, like, hey, what is this about? Yada yada yada. And then I say, hey, read the Kabbalion, and they're like, okay, well, I don't get it. What's this for? If you'll, like I said, okay, well,
Hmm.
if you don't get it, well, we'll talk about it. But the thing is that most people don't really want to. They just want to. Again, they're looking for cultural freedom under white supremacy. They're not really about this mission. You know.
Got it.
So to ultimately to answer your question earlier, we said what is freedom?
Yeah.
Ultimately, in order for this world to end, this universe to end, this world has to vibrate, and there has to be five principles exacted. So those five principles are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So think of like a five pointed star, right? And
Hmm.
each one, or a pentacle, and each one of these principles is interconnected, right? So for example, you can't have, without justice there can't be peace, right?
Hmm.
Without truth there can't be love, right? So
Hmm.
now in the Moorish Science Temple, I was taught that justice, that they said that Jesus is justice, or Christ is justice, right? Meaning
Hmm.
that ultimately that one man is going to be able to bring the justice, but the rest of it we can help create. I'm trying to say, and ultimately, truthfully,
Hmm.
we can help create justice by raising the vibration of truth and love within inside of ourselves. You know, ultimately,
Hmm.
again, this world is still subject to those universal laws. So as you begin to vibrate higher, everybody around you begins to vibrate higher. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So, and as you know, like vibration is what creates heat, right?
Hmm.
So the difference between water and steam is just vibration, no?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's still water, So ultimately, this ascension process, think of it like that, like we as each and every one of us individual souls begin to come online and cook within inside of the vessels that we call our bodies. It affects everything. It affects the earth. That's why climate change is happening. It has nothing to do with uh, uh, CO2 emission, right? As above, so below is one of the first laws. Is one of the laws of the Hermetic
Hmm.
principles. So
Wow.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. I'm gonna yeah. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully I'm not overwhelming you here, but I mean, this is stuff
No, no, you're not. I mean,
okay,
it's
cool.
just no, 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 you're not. My thing
I'll
is just being able to understand it, and then it's
apply it.
like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then of course you have your day to day,
Yes.
you know, the day to day stuff,
Exactly. Yeah.
and then your family. So
Yeah. You got
yeah.
you have to the thing is that always tell people is that if you have time to breathe, which you have to breathe in order to stay alive, no, you have time to
Mhm.
breathe slowly and with intention, right?
Mhm.
So when we spoke earlier, and I just had you take some deep breaths, I mean, you were more calm and more centered after that, right? So
Mhm.
think about the next time you're having a moment of anxiety. You know what I'm trying to say, with your work or your family life, etc. You know, um,
Mhm.
and take those deep breaths, and again, you'll if you can remember again that all is mind, the universe is mental. That based upon your inner emotional world, your reality is going to change. And if you have faith in that too, right, and faith in yourself,
Mhm.
then you won't slack off on your inner work like you slack like as if like I'll put it this way: most people spend more time working their job to feed their vessel than they do working to feed their spirit and their eternal soul, right?
Right. Right. And exactly. I mean, that's exactly what I would say. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's a truth.
That has been the struggle.
Yes, exactly. So when you understand that and you can begin to prioritize that, now again, that's why people like me are here for. I'm going to say if that is a weak point in your life, and it is, and you think you need help, then you find someone like myself. It doesn't have to be me, but someone that's qualified, to help you out with that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Other than that, I'm giving you the tools right now. I sent you the Kabbalion. I brought you through a meditation. You could take those tools and right there, and you could use that for the rest of your life if you have the discipline yourself to do it. If not, I recommend you look into either myself or another coach. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I just sent you a link of my prices. It's pretty decent in terms of the rates. You'll see for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate your time.
Oh, not a problem.
I understand. Very appreciative.
Not a problem, sis. I mean, I could talk. I know you're probably sleepy. You're probably ready to head to bed now. Yeah.
No, actually, I feel like I'm more awoke,
Okay. Well,
which is so crazy.
it's all good. Let's talk then. Shoot.
Uh, well, I guess since I do have a family, like, what is your family structure like? Like, are you close to your family? Did you grow up like not like, are you not as close with your family? Because family obviously matters to me. So I just want to know, like, how are you like close with your family?
Me? I mean, uh, not really. No, I mean, no, but
Okay. Okay.
I'm not that close to my family. But I mean, like, not, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm close to some of them. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not ultimately like how can I put it? There isn't anybody that reaches a certain level of enlightenment that doesn't focus on being close to God more importantly than their family. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
Because when you're gone from this world, and you will be, right? Eventually, um, it's not going to be your family that dictates whether you come back down here or whether you don't come back down here. You know what I'm trying to say? Or et cetera.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like
Gotcha. So it's like perspective.
exactly. I see myself as a soul having a human experience. You know what I'm trying to say? Now,
Mhm.
not everybody in my family sees themselves as that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So my mother is she's just a kind of a typical base Christian. She doesn't she doesn't meditation to her is probably something she would be afraid to do. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
So I still love and respect her to a degree, but I mean, there's I realize that you can only love somebody to the degree, like I said before, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You can only love somebody to the degree of truth that they're willing to accept. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I love my mother to that degree. I love my brother to that degree, and I love my sister to that degree. and anybody else in my life to that degree, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes people that are family are more connected via the soul than via just what womb we came out of at this in particular incarnation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is there ever a point where you feel like you've learned all that you need to know, or like how do you
Maybe
just keep?
maybe externally, but the thing is that as long as you're in a body, as long as you're encompassed in a body, then obviously you have more to learn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Obviously you have more to learn, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's not about even so much learning as it is about doing and taking action. So there's another philosophy of a 5-step philosophy that I have. It's called this is taken from the story of Christ. It basically it goes knowledge, action, pain, introspection, and wisdom. I think I spoke about this before with you, but basically knowledge knowledge in the story of Christ at the beginning would be he realized that again that his people were taken over by the Romans and that there was injustice, right? Then he took action based upon that injustice, right? That action brought him
Mhm.
pain, right? He was found as being the king of the Jews. That pain brought him introspection, right? After he came out of the cross, he went into the cave. After he came out of the cave, that then he had wisdom. He became the Christ, right? So he wasn't again. He
Mhm.
wasn't going to go back and doing the same thing he did before. So how did I get into this topic? I lost my train of thought.
Oh.
You asked me about my family and oh yeah, about inner work. Okay, so yeah, so
Yeah.
like what I'm saying is that like knowledge is only part of it. Knowledge is 1/5 of the battle, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So sometimes it's taking action, right? And getting over the fear of taking that action because again, there's consequences for taking actions, no?
Yeah.
So the story of Christ is the example of the ultimate alchemist because he's willing to take action, right?
Mhm.
At the sake of his own life for the freedom of and the salvation of others. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So a lot of times, we're learning, hotepping, and just intellectually masturbating online, right? Because we're
Mhm.
afraid to go and do the inner emotional work needed, right? Now, in the
Mhm.
story of Christ, the action was a physical action, but eventually, in the story of Christ, in the story of Buddha, etc., or in the Taoist teaching, that action goes from being a physical action in the world to an inner emotional non-action through understanding of universal law, right?
Mhm.
When you understand that again, the freedom you're seeking is not one that you'll ever find in the world, and the freedom you're seeking is from the world itself, then the non-action through meditation, right, and stillness and mindfulness becomes just as important as me running through the temple with a sword, or me flipping, or what I'm trying to say, or me going to the court
Yeah.
like I did before, and being like, hey, I want to be free, I want to let my people free, so that becomes just as important as if not more important. I'm trying to say because what you realize what you're looking to save is people's souls, and you cannot do that. Um, you can't do that. It's an individual process. People have to go through their own process and come to you when they're ready. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, when the student is ready, the
Yeah,
teacher appears.
exactly, and yeah, exactly, and even then, sometimes people will come to you because they're lost and they're looking for somebody, but they're not ready yet. I'm trying to say. So sometimes they might even be a teacher that's a good teacher, but they're not really ready. They're not really ready to be a good student. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So that happens too.
So, you pretty much meditate like every day, all day, or are there certain times of the day?
I mean, in a sense, I'm in a constant state. In a sense, I'm meditating now. In a sense, you know what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
But
got it.
I just actively focus on it when something comes up that I need to actively work on. You know what I'm trying to say. Right now, there's
Mhm.
there's there's no there's no pain in my heart that I'm aware of that I need to get out of myself. There's no pain in your heart that I feel from you that I need to transmute. But if I felt that, then I would do some transmutation. Either during the conversation or when I got out, when I got out the conversation, etc. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah.
you deal with it as it comes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. What are your thoughts on? Because a lot of people are into like tarot right now and all that, and Reiki healing,
There's nothing wrong with
sound bowls.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with tarot or any of these divination tools necessarily. The issue is the intent, meaning that
Mm,
is your intent to basically what separates an alchemist from a witch, and some witches call themselves alchemists and they're not. But what separates us
mm-hmm.
essentially is that they see this world, this universe, as their sustainer. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, got it. Mm-hmm.
And we as alchemists, or especially if you're a Gnostic alchemist, or or a Christian Gnostic, or a Christian alchemist, whatever you want to call it, or but if you're an alchemist of faith, you see this world as an entrapment of your soul, right? You
Mm-hmm.
see this universe as, like, in a sense, like you would see the universe in the same way that Neo saw the Matrix. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so you would look at the world and the creators of the world as like the way Neo saw the creator of the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are some people that they worship the creators of this world. For example, in the Yoruba religion, the Orishas are earth creators, which makes them those kind of Matrix agent type beings. Or in the Gnostic understanding, they call them the demiurge, which are the forces that created the world, which our souls were later entrapped in. They are in a sense our children that entrap their parents and are milking the souls of their parents, which are us. So
Mm.
it's like, so there's like, before Christianity there was an earlier um understanding that was a little more in depth, called Gnosticism, which is basically just, the Gnostics were just Christians. They didn't call themselves Gnostic. They were just Christians, but basically they were the later day Egyptians, and basically, and there's still Gnosticism and Gnostic thought in the Bible and in Christianity, but it's a little bit confused, a little bit skewed in terms of its so, for example, like in the Christian theology, they have, for example, Christ comes and he destroys the world by fire and by judgment, right? Ends the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so he ends the world, but then also the Bible, they say that God created the world in 7 days, right? And said, "Come, let us make man in our image and after our likeness," right?
Right.
That God there, it's pronounced Elohim, which is plural for many gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a group of beings that created the world. Now, if those group of beings created the world, that's not the God that Christ came from. Because why would he destroy his father's creation?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So meaning that
Yeah.
there is a evil, or a evil force in the Bible that most people don't understand. The creator of the world is, in a sense, the devil. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because again, this world is an imperfect place, right? And that's why Christ says you
Mm-hmm.
got to come out of the world. You know what I'm trying to say? So eventually, just like the Christ story goes, Christ realizes that it's not the world that he's trying to fix, but his own soul. And it's not the physical Hebrews that he's trying to free, but their souls from the world. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Mm-hmm.
when people, there are certain religions that they worship the creators of the world. You know what I'm trying to say? And they
Yeah.
call upon the creators of the world, right? So people can call upon the spirit of the Orishas, you know what I'm trying to say, in this Yoruba thing, and they can get certain insights, and they can seem as if they're spiritually advanced, right?
Yeah.
But they're getting that from the same demiurge force, or same demonic force that entrapped our souls from the get go, right? And then they'll
Mm-hmm.
try to make Christianity as if it's some whitewash shit, as if you're less than because you're not practicing African religion, quote unquote, where
Right.
Christianity came from Africa. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So
Right.
they think they're fucking slick. So no, that's a difference. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you if you use tarot or not. It's about your intentions.
Yeah.
Whether you serve the one who comes, whether you serve the God who comes back in the form of his son to end the world, or whether you serve the creators of the world that entrapped your souls in this universe and in this fear-based body that you call yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. It's a will and intent. And then you have certain people
Got it.
that are half steppers that wanna tiptoe and cross a line. Well, Jesus this day when I'm feeling this way, or Christ this day, then I worship the Orishas for this. That's you know what I'm trying to say. That type of
Yeah.
split minded shit, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it. You know, good and evil is this simply this. Good is those who wish to see the ending of the world, the return of the Messiah, and the ending of this world, and a new and eternal world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And evil is simply this: those who wish to see the continuation of this world. It's that simple.
Oh,
It's that simple.
those that wish to see the
Continuation
continuation
of
of
this
this world to
world.
go on, to keep existing.
Make America great again, right?
That's evil.
Let's exactly. Let's or it could even be, you know, for black people, it could be like, oh well, we're gonna have the matriarchy now. It's gonna be the matriarchy that's gonna rule. Let's create another, you know, society for another 1,000 years, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, as we're
So then
living,
how does that align then? Like if we're coming, like how the Bible says we're coming up on like the 400 years,
mhm.
then, you know, like how does that align with now then?
How are you asking me? How do I see that the prophecies are fulfilling themselves?
Yeah. Mm,
Because I mean, number one, you know, it says there'll be wars and rumors of war, right? It talks about in the end days
right.
that um, there'll be crazy homosexuality. You know what I'm trying to say, which is happening now.
Right.
It says
Mm-hmm.
in the end days there'll be for every there'll be seven single women that'll come to the calling to ask a man in his hand in marriage, in terms of us as black people, and that's the case, right? 70% of our women are single mothers,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that in a sense, alchemically speaking, the decay of our people in a sense is good, because it shows you that it can't get any worse. You know what I'm trying to say? And so
Yeah.
we're going through a metaphysical process that it's basically called purification through putrefaction, right? Where you can't get any
Mm-hmm.
worse, and you know, it's like a rubber band. It can only stretch but so far before it snaps. And so
Yeah.
as people's brains begin to die, what's activated is their brain up under the brain, which is the pineal gland. So, you know, it ultimately, you know, that's why Christ says in the Bible that these things must come to pass, that such and such must happen, right? It says must come to pass, meaning that it's supposed to happen, right?
Yeah.
Because again, we live in a dualistic universe. So as the evil force rises, it also draws upon it, the good force also rises too, to combat it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. How would you be able to explain this to kids?
Kids, you don't
Yeah.
you don't you don't explain to kids. You don't. It's too
You know what
advanced.
I mean? The only reason why I mention it is because kids are always like, "Oh, where's God? And who is God? And is
Yeah,
God
well,
good or bad?"
it comes in. You know, like the Bible says, milk for babes and meat for men, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't do that. It's not beneficial. You wouldn't give. I mean, do you have children?
Yes.
You wouldn't give your infants steak, would you?
No.
Without teeth, okay, you might kill them,
Right.
right?
Same
That's
concept.
the same concept. That's pretty much it. They'll come out all screwed up in the head. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
you give them. That's why people go to church, and that's what they're supposed to be. When you're ready for next level, then you're ready for next level. There's nothing wrong with the
Yeah.
church. It's just where you're at. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is very true. This feels like a dream. Doesn't even seem real.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was my question. Would you recommend going to like, what are your thoughts on like therapy?
Going to therapy.
Yeah,
Um,
like CBT, cognitive behavior therapy.
like you're saying what do I think about someone like yourself going and getting therapy from a therapist?
Yeah.
Um, are you gonna pay?
Do you
Are you
see
pay?
therapy as,
No,
well,
I
I
don't. I
guess,
don't.
do
I
you
don't.
just see
I don't
therapy
see.
as beneficial?
I don't see it as a bad thing. No, I don't see it as a
Oh,
bad thing.
okay.
No, not at all. But are you paying out of pocket for it?
I used to.
No, don't. F that. Shoot. If you're paying for therapy, just pay me. I'm like literally fucking 10 times better than any therapist in the fucking world. Don't. I mean, if you didn't have another option, yeah, sure.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
no. What do you think this is right now?
right. No, 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 no. That's why I was just wanting to get your
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah, yeah. I'm all for therapy. If you don't have a better option, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
You wouldn't go back to the
yeah,
church now. You know what I'm trying to say?
right.
You know, yeah, sure. I'm all if you don't have a better option, sure. I'm not against it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and oh, what are your thoughts on like our astrological our signs, like our
Yeah, they're valid. What they're meant to show you is your soul's mission while you're on this earth. You know what I'm trying to say? So
hmm
basically, you can use that to show
as a guide.
to yeah, as a guide. So it's to help you understand your soul's purpose. You know, and that should just go to show you ultimately that we really are souls in housed in a human body. You know what I'm trying to say? Astrology should just prove that this world's not our home. You know what I'm trying to say? If
hmm
if um if our whole human plight can be plotted out in an astrological chart, you know what I'm trying to say, then that should just show
Yeah.
you that we're just playing out a dream.
hmm
No?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly it. So astrology has always been important in the Bible. They went to they used the stars to find when Christ was coming.
Right.
Yeah. So these are the sciences that we have to know as alchemists to be able to stay ahead of our enemy, right? That our enemy really wants us to be, because there is our enemy is also present in the church. You know what I'm trying to say? Our enemy wants to anything that doesn't want you to be um, enlightened and have knowledge that empowers you. You know what I'm trying to say? Is in a sense your enemy. Now that same thing that said, there's some people that don't have any discernment and are spiritually stupid, and they'll go run off into join some Yoruba shit, thinking that they're getting some advanced shit that some this is the real African shit now. You know what I'm trying to say? No,
Yeah.
no. Actually, this Christian Egyptian shit is actually some real African shit too. You just got it. You just got a whitewashed version of it. And you didn't know your history. You know what I'm trying to say? Lots of people that
hmm
get into spirituality but don't want to know their own history, so they're confused. You know what I'm trying to say? And realistically, the way I look at it is like, if you can be tricked by a whitewashed image of Christ, then and you don't take the time to research history in an information age where knowledge is at your fingertips, you really should not really be in metaphysics. You know what I'm trying to say? It's not really for you, because that's a simple reverse psychology method. You know what I'm trying to say? If you can't get past reverse psychology, then how the hell are you ever gonna be some magician? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I get it. How are you able to be, I guess, like stand in your truth and what you believe in without any fear of anything? Like, what, I guess,
Yes,
what word am I looking for? Like, how are you able to do that?
I'm able to stand in my truth without fear because I've felt the fear and I've dealt with the fear head on.
Oh, I see.
It's pretty much it. There's no easy road to enlightenment. There's no easy road to bravery. In order to find bravery, you got to face your fear. You know what I'm trying to say? This is
hmm
this is this is this is this is work. You know what I'm trying to say? Now, again,
Yeah.
like I said before, you said, "Can I go to therapy?" What therapy is what they allow you to do is to take your stress and your anxiety and through your throat chakra release it upon them, right?
Yeah.
Right? And they're paid money to have you release your energy through your throat chakra. But the thing is that the root of your cause is never really dealt with, which is really fear of yourself to go inward, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they're constantly doing just band-aid type like first aid type shit on you, whereas what we're doing is going inside yourself and doing open heart surgery and getting that cancer out. You know what I'm trying to say?
hmm
Now, obviously, this procedure is going to it's going to be a lot more work. You know what I'm trying to say? But I mean, at the end result, you're going to be a totally new transformed person as opposed to being codependent upon some therapist. I'm trying to say, and then what happens when that therapist is called out, and then all of a sudden you're depressed because you couldn't talk to her. You know what I'm trying to say? But no matter where you go, you can always
Mm-hmm.
speak to God, which is inside you, and that's true
Yeah.
empowerment. Alchemy is not
Mm-hmm.
about being a codependent. It's about being. It's about not being subject to your environment or being subject to yourself or your shell either, or subject to this world
Mm-hmm.
ultimately. So there's
Mm-hmm.
really it's a path you choose or you don't choose. You know what I'm trying to say? That's pretty much it. You
Yeah.
at some point there's going to be a crossroads, and that crossroad is fear or love. You have to choose one. In order to love, you got to be brave. You know what I'm trying to say? That's why the story of
Yeah.
Christ is the example, the alchemical example of life. You know what I'm trying to say? You have to be willing to give your life. You know what I'm trying to say? To find faith.
Yeah.
To find faith. Right?
Yeah.
What you again, I said before, there's 3 steps: belief, faith, and fruition. What you're at right now, most people in this world will never find faith. Never. Never. They'll never ever
Mm-hmm.
find they'll never find peace that is not subject to, how good their kids are doing, or how their husband is, or how their wife is, or how their car is, or how their home is, or how their finances. You know what I'm trying to say? They're always subject to something outside themselves. Always. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's
Mm-hmm.
the reason why they get boyfriends and have kids. Because they need something to micromanage outside themselves to find peace and comfort, because they couldn't do it and find it within in God.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, they're saying God's not good enough, but they're just not saying it. They're just doing it showing it through their actions, right? In the Bible, it actually says
Mm-hmm.
you'd be better off not being with a spouse. You'd be better off giving your life to me. You know what I'm trying to say? The most spiritual people
Mm-hmm.
never have kids. You know what I'm trying to say? The most spiritual people
Yeah.
are monks and nuns. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Exactly it. So and those people are past faith. They're working at a level of fruition in their lifetime. So what you're at is you're just trying to find faith.
Yeah.
It's going to take work though. But when you're done with it, you'll take that, and that's light that you'll be a beacon for others to give them too. You can't take your therapist with you. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't pass on the therapy to your children. You can pass on faith to your children because they can see it in you. It's something that light is tangible within you. No one can take that from you. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So if you want to show your children, you show them by example. If mommy's a Christian but she's fear based all the time and she's anxious all the time, then what does that say about the faith? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Mm. Wow. Very, very, very interesting perspectives
Thanks.
in a good way. I mean,
Thanks.
I get it though. I mean, everything is part of the process, so I
Yeah.
understand.
You got to take steps, man. Me creating this Facebook group, I was scared crapless, man. I meditated for 2 months just to create it. You know,
Yeah.
I was scared to, I'm planning a retreat here, I think next fall, and I was scared to post about that. That's the thing. You
Hmm.
got to face fear every little bit each day. I'm trying to say it's a process,
Just a little bit.
a little bit
Yeah.
each day. That's exactly it. And so when I had you meditate, what you did was
Hmm.
you faced a fear, correct?
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Because again, this world's an illusion. So you meditate to actively handle that dream lucidly in your inner emotional world. So when you're projecting the outward dream, you're able to control it because you understand that your projection is all coming from within your own. You know what I'm trying to say? So you don't have to go wrestle fight a lion or wrestle a bear, or say, all you gotta do is do that in your mind. You know what I'm trying to say? And in your heart, in your nervous system. The brain doesn't know the difference. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yep. Hmm. Well, um, I had other questions. I just can't remember right now.
So when is this spiritual journey started for you, sister?
Um, I can't even put a date on it. I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, when did
I've
you?
just always been Christian though.
Yeah, but like, okay, so I know you grew up Christian, but like, are you used to go to church now or no?
Sometimes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now, what made you decide to, like, enter like groups like myself and others groups?
Oh, just the questions,
Hmm.
like, is this really real? What's real?
Hmm.
That type of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I know church for me I actually really like it though.
Yeah, that's not this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, nothing wrong with that. I go to my mom's church sometimes, and it's sometimes just they saying some good stuff. You know,
Yeah.
um, the thing is
I think you
that
take away whatever you need from it.
exactly bingo. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Like just it's just like therapy. I've been in therapy before, and it was good. You know what I'm trying to say? It was good. It
Yeah.
was it was useful. I'm not knocking it.
Mhm.
But I'm at a level now that if I go back there, I'll be preaching to the damn therapist. You know what I'm trying to say about meditation, and I have.
Got it.
So it's like I've outgrown it. Is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's all.
Got it.
I just outgrown it. So it's not saying it's bad. It's just it's like it'd be like me saying third grade is bad for your daughter or son, or you know what I'm trying to say. It's not that's
Mhm.
it's ridiculous to say that. You know what I'm trying to say. But they're not going to
Yeah.
want to go there when after they graduate college. It's going to be like, all right. After a while, it's like, all right, okay, I get it. Yeah, color in the lines, I get it. I get it.
Right.
So
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, all in all, I just want to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do and make sure, because I have, like I said, my kids mean everything to me.
mhm.
So,
You're saying that for your own faith and things like that, and what you want to pass on to them. You're
yeah.
saying, yeah.
Right. Right.
Ultimately, like this world eventually, you know, has to end. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's something you can never forget. This universe had a beginning and it's going to have an end. So
That's true.
ultimately, you need to find faith yourself. You know what I'm trying to say? That's non-wavering. And faith is really just an inner knowing that is supposed to bring you peace. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
And then when you have that,
That's
that
true.
that that vibration will be passed on to your children. You know what I'm trying to say? And
Yeah.
ultimately, again, this world's not going to last forever. So they say one day is just going to the kapoof. You know what I'm trying to say? So I mean,
Is that what they call right now, like the whole timeline jump stuff? I don't know. Shifting, like how everyone's throwing that word around. Oh, you only have until a certain date to shift,
I
to
wouldn't get
go
caught.
to like 5D and all that
No, I
stuff.
wouldn't get caught up in that shit. It says in the
But
Bible.
that's
It says in the Bible, no man knows. You know what I'm trying to say?
right,
So
right.
no, don't get caught up in that. But at the same time, don't be so finite in your thinking either. To think that that children that your children that your children, hopefully, I pray that they never even have to grow up. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what I pray. I hope this world's ended for they, because realistically, our children go through the pains of things that we didn't do. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah,
That
that's true.
you know what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say? So it's like, we have the seed of the eternal God within us in a finite world. So we are man is the perfecting agent of God via the soul. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
So we are God experiencing itself. So if there's things that we haven't dealt with, our children are then forced to learn those lessons, right? So
yeah,
no matter what you want to think about spirituality, in terms of its importance in your life, if you neglect yourself spiritually and internally, your children are going to have to pick up that slack somewhere because mommy didn't do it,
yeah.
right? So if you care about them, then your faith is the utmost. So it works in everything. You always put God first in everything, and everything else will fall in line. No,
That's
yeah.
true.
So you
The
got
foundation.
exactly. It's your foundation for effort for life. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Hmm. Well, a lot of Christians don't believe in reincarnation, but a lot of people that step away from the church do.
well, I mean, realistically, I don't really see how you could be a Christian and not believe in reincarnation because don't we read about Christ and then say he's going to come return?
Yep.
So that doesn't make any sense. It's illogical.
Yeah.
A lot of Christians don't like to question things. They don't like to think, and that's okay because
Yeah.
again, they're at a child level, right?
Yeah.
So literally, the story of Christ is based in reincarnation. So that's it, it doesn't again. I wasn't
Yeah.
because I guess the thing with me is that I I read the Bible when I was 30 after learning our history and metaphysics and things like that. I'm trying to say, and I was
Hmm.
meditating and reading the Kabbalion. So I understand. I look at it with my own through my own lens, and I never had people teach me the Bible. I learned from my. I'm trying to say I read it on my own. So
Hmm.
it never, I never came with the dogma attached that I was that it's supposed to be this way or that way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So I had that advantage. I'll just say, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously Christ is meant to return, and he was already on earth before. So doesn't that mean isn't he proof of reincarnation? You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
I'm just saying that sometimes people are a
That's
bit
funny.
illogical. You know what I'm trying to say because they're so
Yeah.
emotional. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Right.
but that's the thing. They still have a childlike understanding of it because that's where they're at in their journey, and that's okay.
Yeah. Wow.
You should start listening to the podcast sometime more often too.
I am.
I'm like,
Especially at this point. Like,
yeah. I'm like, God, I'm like, little man, like, you can't believe you didn't listen to even one episode.
no, no, it's not that. Like I said, I'm not really online like that, but now I know like okay, yeah, that's there as a tool. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. But I mean, you work, right?
no.
You don't work, okay? Well, that
Mm,
well, even better, even more reason to listen to the podcast then.
right.
Gee whiz, I thought you were just so busy running around you didn't have time. I was gonna say you could listen to it in your car, but I mean, yeah,
I know I was just kind of like debating like, okay, am I going or am I not? Like what am I doing?
going
Kind of
where?
like in limbo,
Going
going
where?
back to work.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But why didn't you listen to the podcast in the first place though? Or do you listen to like who do you listen to for spiritual advice? You know what I'm trying to say like what?
Who do I listen
Yeah,
to?
out of curiosity,
I mean, Nicole.
Nicole. She's the main one.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hmm.
Well, that's good. She's a good sister.
Yeah. You know the call-ins like during the week.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of those. I'm a part of a lot of those.
Okay.
Yeah, those are like helpful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then of course church. You know, I have my
Yeah,
church,
yeah.
but other than my church, yeah.
I interviewed her recently. Did you see that?
Oh no,
Yeah, I interviewed her recently. Yeah, for the podcast.
oh that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. She's an amazing sister. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, she's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, wow, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I'm wondering from like my own me personally though. Why would you still be why reach out to me though? I'm trying to say why did you have the inkling to do so? When you I'm saying because
Oh, you.
she's a very advanced sister in her own right. I'm just asking why. What would
Oh,
make you
I
reach
mean,
out to
you
me?
commented on my first. You commented on my post.
Hmm.
And so I said, "Oh, okay. Well, let me reach out." It was
Hmm.
just really like that. It wasn't like a,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. Do you have children?
No, I don't know.
Okay, and you just chose
I just chose to meditate for the
just
last 10 years and be
yeah,
celibate. So
yeah.
that has nothing to do with you don't have sex, you don't have children. And
Right.
ultimately, I'm not here to live with a white picket fence and have my own home. This world's hell. You know what I'm trying to say? And I view it
Mhm.
as hell. Of course the world has a duality. There's yin and yang. I could look at the bright side and ignore the suffering in the world and the children in Africa that are taking squats and shits on the beach. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because they don't have toilets. You know what I'm trying to say? I can ignore all the suffering and just look at the fancy houses and cars near where I live and forget about the suffering of others. But I choose to realize that this world is always going to have a dark a polarity of suffering to it, no matter what, right? And
You're
so
right.
I'm not. I would. Why would I, having gone through the suffering that I've experienced in this world, want to bring more life into it to suffer?
Yeah.
Right. So people like Christ and things like that, and people that are like the Essenes, they didn't have children, right? For that reason,
Right.
right?
Mm.
Let me ask.
Wow.
Yeah, let me ask you about your life here. You've asked me so many questions. Like, so what's your life like? What I'm checking out your Facebook thing here, and it seems like you've gone through some narcissistic relationships. What's your status in terms of like, are you a single mother? You have a husband? Like, what's your relationship like? Because I'm wondering like,
Oh,
go ahead.
no, yeah, I am married.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
married and we have kids.
how is your relationship with your husband then?
Hmm. Well, right now our communication is just really bad. We've always had really bad communication.
But you live together?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, because I'm now is he the first relationship you had? Because it seems like you've had some narcissist relationships. Is he the one that is the narcissist or what?
I've had narcissistic relationships with my mom.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah, my
gotcha,
mom, my
gotcha,
dad.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
I've been married for pretty much we've been together since I was like fresh out of high school.
okay, so that's okay. Gotcha. So
So
you didn't really have
yeah,
a chance to know yourself that well, though.
right.
There's no way, you know.
Hmm.
So how's your guys' relationship? I
Yep.
mean, how's his spiritual path?
So I don't know. We don't talk about it. It's like I mean I couldn't even tell you.
Okay,
And I know he still
that's not
he
good.
still believes in I know it's not.
But go ahead. He still believes in what?
That's I, I asked him like, okay, do you believe in God? Do you believe in Jesus? And he's like, yeah, I still do. And I said, well, what about, do you want to go to church? And he's like, nope. So that's just really where it is. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's good that you're still on your path, regardless. You know, I mean, I just have to I had to ask that because when someone comes to me and I'm thinking to myself, cause I'm I'm looking at your Facebook page, right, and I'm seeing your it looked like a man that was your husband and it looked like children. So I'm like, okay, um, why isn't that person giving you the spiritual guidance in your life? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I told him. We talked about it recently and the conversation really didn't go anywhere.
Well, that's okay. I mean, ultimately, like realistically, I mean, that's ideal. You know what I'm trying to say? But I mean,
Hmm.
it's not the end of the world. And realistically, like ultimately, your spiritual path is your own. You know what I'm trying to say, regardless of who you're with. You know what I'm trying to say? Um,
Right.
and I guess I should say that has there ever been a side of you that has ever thought that as you begin to advance on a certain path that he's not necessarily on, that you'll begin to separate in the inner emotional world, and then eventually that will in fact impact your physical standing with him.
Yeah, I've thought that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely have thought that. And I feel like that's pretty much what has happened.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, you know, couples therapy would be ideal if you think you know what I'm trying to say. But if
Yeah.
because you mentioned therapy earlier, that would
Right. That was why I mentioned it,
yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. If
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
thinking about
I
it.
didn't know this whole situation. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, unless I mean, I could speak to him, but I mean, I mean, he would have to want to understand the way you have an open mind. The reality is that you don't just have an open mind; you have done independent research on your own. You know what I'm trying to say? Because this is something you
Hmm.
care about, no?
Right.
Because your soul and your spirit is important to you, and it should be to anybody, right?
Hmm.
Um, Let me ask you this: Is he works right now and you don't work?
Right.
Okay, so in a sense, it's like, and I'm not trying to be rude, but in a sense, he is allowing you to be able to focus on that while he works. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm. Yep.
So it's like at some point you got to make an investment in spirituality regardless for your children, no? And I think you realize that because
Right.
you want to be the one to enculturate your children with the knowledge of self and the knowledge of God.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I definitely think therapy, though, the couples therapy would show.
yeah. It's not a
I
bad
mean,
idea.
but I don't know.
It's not a
Yeah,
bad
I don't
idea,
think it's a bad
but
idea.
the thing is that it's not if spirituality is the issue in terms of the core issue you're having, you're trying to say, that is
Mhm.
not going to fix it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A,
Oh,
th-
that makes sense.
a therapist is not going to be able to impart spiritual wisdom to you or your husband.
Right.
And that's what you're looking for, a spiritual foundation, correct?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It would be weird for me as a third party man speaking to another man. I'm trying to say, but
Yeah.
I could do that. But I mean, that'd be something that he'd have to be open to. So
Right.
what you could do is listen to some podcasts, or does have you ever had him listen to like Sister Nicole?
No, because he listens to like ministers and stuff. So
I've got some podcasts where I speak about the cultural appropriation of Christ, a revolutionary Black Messiah, in my podcast. So I've got some stuff that a righteous Christian will love. Realistically,
well, yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I definitely think that would help.
Just plays in your house and be like, "Honey, come check this out." They'd be like, "Okay."
Right. Like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Send. Yeah. Look. There's some really good. I mean, some of it is maybe way out there. It's not way out there, but some of it's out there in terms of depending on where he's at. But some of it is stuff that a Christian person would really like. Like here's an episode that we speak about. Let's see here. There's this one I had: the body of Christ, ascension, and the role of empaths.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you that one. I'm not sure if he'll like that one, but I'm gonna send you that one anyway for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll love this one. It's a good episode.
You sleep.
Do I sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to bed pretty late.
Did
I
you
told you
meditate so much?
I go yeah, I go to I woke up at 12 p.m. So I go to bed around 4 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
You're like up. Do you have to take like melatonin or anything to go to sleep?
No, I don't.
Chamomile, lavender.
No, what I do is I have a light therapy lamp, right? And that gives me like a lot of energy. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh,
Because it make
really? A
yeah,
light therapy
yeah.
lamp.
Light therapy lamp, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Yeah, because you sound like it's like 2 p.m. or something. Like, like, whoa.
So let me ask you this: how's your family life? Growing up, how's your relationship with your mother and your father? Did you have both, or no?
Mm-mm. I mean, they were there, but my, I mean, they were there. It wasn't as cohesive, but they were there.
Mm-hmm.
They were together, and then they separated for a little bit. Well, they separated after some time, but my dad was still in the picture. My mom was still in the picture.
Okay, so they were
But
separated, but
yeah,
so who'd you live with though?
my mom.
Okay, so
Yeah.
describe your relationship with your father first, and then talk about your mother.
Well, my dad pretty much raised me from like 3 until he met my stepmom, and then my stepmom raised me from what 4 until I was, pretty much moved out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was raised by my stepmom, and then my dad was in the picture, and then kind of like in and out of jail. So,
Mm-hmm.
but financially, he was always a provider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
he was always a
how did this relationship
provider.
with your mom turn narcissistic though? How did you like? When did you move with her? Or did you visit her on weekends or what?
No, I wasn't raised by my birth mom. I was raised by my stepmom.
I know, but you said you had a narcissistic relationship with your mother.
Stepmom.
Oh, your
Yeah, my
stepmother. Oh,
stepmom.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay. So why was that? What
yeah.
happened with her?
Um, it was pretty much like couldn't really talk to her. I couldn't really talk to her. I just felt like I kind of raised myself
Mm-hmm.
um while I was with her.
Did she have resentment towards
I
you?
mean,
Because
there's so much.
I know you're not her biological daughter, but why do you think she had an issue with you? What was the issue?
That's a good question. Lately, I've actually been questioning like, is he really narcissistic or is it belief that was kind of like implanted in my mind, if that makes sense.
Give me an
Because
example. Give an example of what you were
the
feeling
thing
and
is,
what the.
she,
Go ahead.
let me see. I mean, she, how can I say it? She like dated a lot of different men.
Okay.
And so I would see that growing up, and I just didn't understand why. Like, what is this?
You're expecting that she
And
should be with your father. You're saying, and you heard by that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You felt alone and
yeah.
abandoned because you wanted someone to look to put you first, and she didn't do that for you.
It's like she, I don't know. It's so weird.
Did you hear what I said,
She's,
sister?
I haven't, huh?
You heard I just said it there?
No.
I said you wanted someone to put you first, and she didn't do that for you.
Oh, yeah,
Correct?
yes. In a way, I don't really feel like that 100% though, because she was there. She made sure that we had everything we needed.
Yeah, but
I
she's.
just
You don't feel
felt
like you didn't feel like she
it was
betrayed you by
off.
by not being with your father though.
Betrayed me?
In a sense,
No, I don't feel
no, you didn't
that.
feel that way. So then, what's the issue? How did she? So what's the issue? Was it the way she treated you?
Yeah, and then something took place, and I just felt like she didn't handle it properly. Something personal took place, and she didn't really handle it the way that I felt that she should have for me.
Gotcha. And that was that one thing, and other than that, she was okay.
It was that, and I started to like pretty much exemplify. Like I started to do the behavior that I saw her do,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Being
And then
promiscuous.
she would, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then she would like reprimand me, and I'm like, what is this? Like you
Mm-hmm.
can do this, and I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. How were you this time? Just teenage years.
Mhm.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So we kind of had that type of relationship.
Clashing of heads and
Yeah.
egos and things like that. Yeah.
I couldn't really talk to her and all that.
Gotcha.
So I kind of held everything in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can. I'm sure you can find in your heart to forgive her eventually. Then, no, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't even feel like that anymore.
Yeah. That's good. Seems like she was a woman that was kind of put in an interesting predicament herself, though. No.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like now at this point, I can like, I look at it differently.
Yeah.
So,
So, what about your biological mother? You ever visit her, or what's up with that?
she has some of her own situation too.
Mm-hmm.
She was like addicted to drugs and stuff.
Gotcha. So, do you ever feel like
Yeah.
you're missing a certain aspect of yourself though in your life with her, or no?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to feel like that a lot because I didn't really know who she was and how, how I could relate to her and all that.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
how did you fill that void?
mm I started a relationship with her.
Okay, recently,
hmm
how's that going?
Um, Not as great as I would like for it to,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I have to do my part though with reaching out to her.
I hear you, but if doing so stresses you out, is it worth it or what?
Right? No, it's really not.
Yeah, because ultimately, this is the thing I always tell people that ultimately, no matter what you're seeking from someone else, you can find that within in God. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's I was actually scrolling through your Facebook and I saw something similar to what I said earlier. Is that you can know something in your head and not yet know it in your heart? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I saw you actually had something in your Facebook post that said something almost exactly like that. You said something like it says like if you're when your head is fighting your heart, it's a liver that suffers or something like that. I forget the thing, but I'm not sure
hmm
you remember posting that.
Yeah.
So isn't that funny? Yeah, that definitely seems like it's something that you're going through. What's your zodiac sign, sister? What's your sign?
What's my sign?
Yeah, out of curiosity.
Oh, oh, Pisces.
Pisces, yeah, sounds about right. Pisces are always stuck in their heads, in their inner emotional worlds.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we always want to be stronger than all of it.
Yeah, but the thing is that while you want to be strong with it, you also never deal with it. That's a Pisces thing. Pisces stick in their head and never go into their heart. You know, they have big
Right.
hearts, but they avoid them. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
and they're yeah. So a lot of Pisces are pain avoiders. You know,
Yep.
so
Conflict avoiders.
exactly. It's
We
not
don't want any
they don't
confrontation.
they don't, and unfortunately, we all have inner conflicts. Whether we want
Yeah.
to whether we want to avoid the outer conflicts or not, if we still have inner conflicts, it's going to come out somewhere. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So that might come out in a relationship. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, your first relationship is with yourself. You know what I'm trying to say? And God. So
Yeah. What's your sign?
my sign, I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, okay. Let's say, are you a Leo? Because you got all those lions on your page.
No, but I mean, I'm the opposite of Aquarius is a Leo. So in a sense, it's like every sign has a dual aspect to it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
That
that's true.
that's my dual nature. Yeah. Yours is a Virgo. Your dual nature is a Virgo, as a Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dang it, why can't I live in more of my Virgo nature?
Yeah. I mean, you're doing pretty decent. You like fashion, right? That's a Virgo thing.
Yeah.
So that seems about right.
Yeah, that's the balance for me.
Exactly.
Well, I do have more questions, so I can save those questions for later, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, like so
And I'll
there.
take a look at everything you sent me.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, the life coaching prices are there. I mean, it was a pleasure speaking to you on a personal level. You know what I'm trying to say? But I
Yeah,
mean,
same here. And I actually am very thankful, like I said, for you taking the time to talk to me.
my pleasure, sister. Yeah. Reach back out to me, and if you want to reach out for my services again, I'm here for you. So,
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
all
And
right,
I
sister.
will,
All right.
if you don't mind, I
Oh,
will.
I'll be honored.
Okay,
All
great.
right. Have a good night, sister. Peace.
Okay, thank you too. Okay.
Bye. She's sweet. If you or anyone you know would be interested in spiritual life coaching, email afroempath@gmail.com or visit us on the web at afroempath.com for more information.